5:30.
Good evening, I'm Steve Hensley. More arguments today in a Franklin County courtroom over new legislative and congressional district maps. The General Assembly approved the new districts for state and U.S. House seats earlier this year. The Democratic Party sued, saying Republicans were choosing their voters. The case is being heard in court. WIMT's Phil Pendleton has more on what was said in Frankfort today.
The basic question being asked is, did Republicans give themselves more of an advantage when the congressional maps were drawn? A UK professor said his studies on multiple scenarios never give Democrats much of an advantage in more than one of the state's 6 districts.
That's right. I can't tell you the exact percentage, but you know from this that more than 1 out of 4, more than 25% of them had a worse expectation for the Democrats than the enacted plan.
That enacted plan includes a 1st district that includes Franklin County along with far southern and extreme western counties. Even the judge said a lot of local residents were shocked when they saw that. Sean Trende, who studied and even written books on these matters, says the first snake-like design preserves historical features in the 2nd district.
If you want to retain the basic shape, the shape of District 2 as it's been over the past 40 years, you're going to end up with the trade-off that you've had over the past 40 years, which is that 1st district wrapping around.
Democrats have argued Republicans are getting an advantage. Those who testified today say that it's really more about the state's landscape.
Yes, because Kentucky's political geography just tends to naturally waste Democratic votes.
Democrats claim the maps are gerrymandered for political gain, but Voss says getting more Democrat votes could result in diluting the current base, especially in Louisville.
Because the whole question was, do you crack open the black vote in Louisville, and who do you put them with?
There's no set date on when Judge Wingate will issue a decision. In Frankfort, Phil Pendleton, WYMT Mountain News.
Judge Wingate has said regardless of how he rules, the final decision will likely come from the state Supreme Court. Governor Andy Beshear is ordering flags at all state buildings to be lowered to half-staff from sunrise to sunset today in honor of Navy fireman 2nd Class Hal J. Allison of Paducah, Kentucky. He died in the attack on Pearl Harbor in 1941, but his remains were not identified until last year. Fireman Allison will be interred at the Maple Lawn Park Cemetery in Paducah tomorrow.
Well, we're watching clouds continue to increase across parts of the area this afternoon. For others, they're actually beginning to work out of the area, and we're actually seeing some sunshine return before the evening is out. High knob camera at UVA-wise, we're into the low 50s at the moment. You still see some of those low clouds. We still have some showers kind of scattered about southwest Virginia right now. But we take you up to I-64 at Moorhead. Cloud over the sun now, but you see more blue sky there because we're starting to work a few of those clouds out. Many of us in the middle and upper 50s right now, still below average, but warmer than we'll be over the next couple of days. That I can assure you, as we continue to see wind gusts out of the west between 25 and 30 miles an hour in many cases, so it is a breezy one out there. Wind speeds are not off the charts, but it's still unlikely to result in a bad hair day. Heaviest shower right now on the Martin-Pike County line, just about to cross into Mingo County here before too long. Other scattered showers, scattered about a smattering is about what I'd define this as the heaviest bulk of rain starts to push out of southwest Virginia. But we're not done. You see a big swirl in the atmosphere, bringing more showers into the western parts of the state. That's something we'll be keeping an eye on throughout the next 24 to 48 hours or so, because that's what's going to give us a chance for more showers. That's why you need to keep that WYMT weather app handy as we head into tomorrow and really into Saturday as well, because not only do we face the threat of scattered showers and storms, but we also face the threat for flurries over the next few days. I'll have the details on that and when temperatures look to bottom out coming up in just a few minutes. Steve?
All right, Evan, thank you. A busy vacation season could be upon us. That means more cars on the road, along with people paying more at the pump. WYMT's Dakota Makris tells us how we can pinch pennies, but still have some fun.
The pain at the pump has been felt for months now.
But as people head on vacations, a AAA spokesperson says results from previous studies show high gas prices do not stop people from taking vacations.
The reason that we are surveying folks again, and like I said, we'll be talking about that before Memorial Day, is that, as you know, we've had historically high gas prices this spring.
Gas Buddy reports the average price of gas in Kentucky is $3.91 a gallon as of Thursday afternoon. Lori Weaver Hawkins with AAA Bluegrass says they find vacationers budgeting for gas and maybe not going out to eat as much or going to as many attractions.
And they may even cut back in other areas of their household budget leading up to that trip.
CBS News reports President Joe Biden ordered the release of up to 1 million barrels of oil from the nation's Strategic Petroleum Reserve.
We know crude oil prices make up the majority of what we see at the pump. The big question will be with the release, how much of that actually gets passed on to the consumer.
But before you leave, it is recommended you have your car checked over, and experts say to check your tire pressure and tread depth often.
Want to make sure that your battery's in good condition. If your battery's 3 years or older, that's a particular concern.
Keeping yourself and your wallet safe. Dakota Makris, WYMT Mountain News.
Experts say you should be well rested before you drive. Recent data shows 1,857 crashes in Kentucky were caused by fatigue or the driver fell asleep. History was made on Capitol Hill today when the Senate voted to confirm Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson to the U.S. Supreme Court. Some Senate Republicans continued to voice opposition to her confirmation right up to the time of the historic vote. But in the end, 3 Republicans, Susan Collins, Lisa Murkowski, and Mitt Romney, sided with all 50 Democrats in a show of bipartisan support. The Harvard Law graduate and previous federal district court judge will also become the first former public defender to serve on the high court.
I'm the father of a young black girl. I know how much it means for Judge Jackson to have navigated the double jeopardy of racism and sexism to now stand in the glory of this moment.
Judge Jackson will replace Associate Justice Stephen Breyer, her former boss when she was a law clerk in his chambers. The United Nations voted Thursday to strip Russia of its seat on the UN Human Rights Council in response to civilian deaths in Ukraine. In a 93-24 decision, the U.S.-led push came amid claims Russian troops massacred hundreds of Ukrainian civilians in the town of Busha. Secretary of State Antony Blinken, who met with Ukraine's foreign minister in Brussels, said the U.S., along with NATO allies, agreed to speed up deliveries of weapons to Ukraine. The Biden administration also moved to prevent Russian airlines from buying spare parts. And on Capitol Hill, lawmakers agreed on measures to revoke normal trade relations with Russia and ban Russian oil imports. A new study finds it's possible to get COVID again less than 3 months after you last had it. The CDC identified 10 people who had that happen. All 10 of them were initially infected with the Delta variant and then reinfected with Omicron. The shortest interval between reinfection was just 23 days. Most of the patients had not been vaccinated. The CDC says people who get over COVID are typically immune from becoming reinfected for about 6 months. But that immunity appears to not always protect against other variants. Coming up on Mountain News at 5:30, a high school teacher is running to raise money to help her students be able to afford college.
And more cold air is working in tonight, tomorrow, and into the weekend. I've got the breakdown on the way coming up next.
WYMT News app offers alerts on